All right, it's 1:01. Let's go ahead and get it started. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. My name is Joe Flagg. I am the Director of Marketing and Communications for Veterans Florida, and Veterans Florida is proud to partner with this incredible team at the University of Florida on this program, which provides world-class training in hardware security. And it is a booming field in Florida. There's a lot of employment opportunities out there. So we are really excited to be a part of this paid opportunity to learn about hardware security. This is our second year doing it, and we will talk about that a little bit more. A reminder for everyone that this webinar is being recorded, and we will post the video. We'll post this up on our YouTube page later, and we will let everybody know when that goes live. Go ahead and do a quick introduction of our three panelists. I have Dr. Sandeep Ray. He's the principal investigator of the program. His research involves developing correct, dependable, secure, and trustworthy computing through cooperation of specification, synthesis, architecture, and validation technologies. You've earned that PhD. That's pretty good. Thank you, Sandeep. We also have Rohan Reddy Kalavakanda. He's the instructor in the program. This will be his second year as well. Rohan is currently working toward a PhD with the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering right there in UF. His research interests include intelligent sensor systems, hardware security, cyber physical systems. And yes, Rohan, again, looks like you've got your PhD already with that. I appreciate you joining us. And we have Dr. Wanli Singh. He's the principal investigator of the program. He's an expert in learning sciences and technologies for STEM education and workforce development. I can tell you over the past year, I've worked with these three pretty closely and really, really appreciate what they're doing for veterans and our state to help meet employer demand in this particular field. Before I turn it over to Wanli, if anyone would like to ask a question, here's the process for doing it. In your lower right-hand screen, you will see a button that has a triangle, a square, and a circle. That's the activities button. You can click on that, and then there'll be another button there for Q&A, and you could submit your question there. You can do this at any time, and I will remind you how to do this as we move through the webinar today. And with that, I think we're ready to get started. I'll turn it over to Wanli and the UF team to start with an overview of the program.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe, for the introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. It's such an honor to work with Veterans Florida to serve our veterans, because I know, we definitely need to commit more resources and support for the service members. So that's why we partner. We develop a multidisciplinary collaboration with Veterans Florida, with our industry partners, to build this program specifically serve our veterans. So the project title is called VETS-HASTE, Veteran Skill Bridge through Industry-Based Hardware Security Training and Education. This project is funded through NSF Excellent Program. NSF is the short name for National Science Foundation. It's a federal agency dedicated to supporting science, technology, research, development, and also preparing a future workforce. So that's the excellent project is dedicated to supporting a workforce development in advanced technology areas. Also for our context is hardware security. And Sandeep and I are the principal investigators for this project. And both of us are serving in the same institute. It's called Water NIMS Institute, or short as NIMS. It's housed in the College of Engineering at the UF. So it's a multidisciplinary, collaborative space for us to innovate the technology, computing, and supporting education as well. So, and of course, right, it's not only just two of us. Well, give me 1 second. I didn't work just now. Give me 1 second. Okay. So it's not just two of us, right? We have a group of a team at UF. Of course, we have a team from Veterans Florida, and also have our industry partners. But for UF side, right, we also have Rohan, who was just got introduced, who serve as the main instructor. We also have Hangju, who really help put the schedule together, get the office organized, and of course with the support of some staff members from NIMS Institute. Again, we work really closely with each other and trying to deliver the best program we can. As Joe mentioned, this is the second year of our program. The first year, I would overall consider a success. But I want to let you know we are also confined by the, let's say, the resources we have. But we are trying to deliver the best experience as much as we can. So what is VETS-HASTE, right? As I just mentioned, it's really a close collaboration between Veterans Florida and the UF. And the Veterans Florida really help us, to bring the veteran outreach to the veterans, promote this program, not only among the veterans themselves, but also promote it within its reach, within the state of Florida, various agencies, and help us, manage the application process. So I really appreciate that. And our University of Florida is mainly like the curriculum, let's say, provider, right? We develop the curriculum, build the hardware, and also provided the instruction for the veterans. We also have a wonderful group of industry partners. Last year we have 3. We have Intel, and there are other 2. There are also other 2 partners, but for the industry partners, they help us provide their, let's say, make the curriculum is very industry relevant, right? Make sure it's closely related with what the industry really wants. And also they will also help manage the help the interns, right? So you will also have industry mentors beyond building a basic knowledge through UF, right? So if you think about this, you have some sort of background, hopefully, right? Because we have a huge application pool, so we will sure you have some background in STEM or technology, and then through the UF's curriculum, you build some basic knowledge of hardware security, and then you move on to industry internship or industry field experience to learn more about hardware security. So that's our overall conceptual framework to design this HASTE program. And why is hardware security? Sandeep, do you want to talk about this?
Sure. You can hear me still, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why did we suddenly choose hardware security? The key thing is that hardware security is getting to be a very important topic for which we need a huge workforce, and almost every semiconductor company needs it. And every semiconductor company, whether big or small, that I have talked to has said, we need more. And we just do not have the skilled workforce. So why is this so important? If you look at more or less anything nowadays that you are working with that has these semiconductor chips, hardware, there is, whether you are looking at a Nest thermostat, or you are in a car, or your refrigerator, whatever else you have, you probably have some things that are making it smart, and that is the building block of that is hardware, the semiconductors. So how is this thing built? The way it is built is, well, some company, maybe in the United States, is building this chip. They get designs of different components of the chip from all over the world, including the United States, but also from every other country almost. And then they assemble it, then they fabricate it, etc. This is called a supply chain. This complex global supply chain means that anybody in this supply chain can potentially subvert this design. They might do it out of malicious reasons. They might do it out of ignorance, because we are talking about too many people, working together to produce this. And what do we know about too many cooks? That can certainly screw things up. So whether for malicious reasons or by mistake, there can be problems. And that can be used by some bad actors, which can be nation state actors, to maybe not even that, like maybe individuals to companies to everybody, that can be subverted and exploited for various purposes. As we are trying to get manufacturing more and more in the United States, it is getting important that we are developing these chips so that that doesn't happen. Because what will happen if your car gets hacked, or your airplane gets hacked, or your home gets hacked, or the critical infrastructures get hacked? There is a problem. And that problem has become so vast because hardware security is everywhere. The problem, though, is hardware security has not been part of curriculum very much. People do learn a little bit about security. There are certainly courses on security, but primarily they focus on software and internet. And those are certainly important, but they do not solve this hardware problem. So we have a huge gap in training and a huge gap in workforce. So why do we want to focus on veterans in particular? Of course, this is a wonderful opening for veterans who are interested in getting into employment in civilian life, because there is an opening. But also hardware security is an area that requires some attributes that are specifically good for veterans. One particular thing is precision. When you are thinking about security, you have to think in detail. Details, corner cases, precision, discipline. You cannot miss something. And that is something that veterans, by their training in the military job, automatically have. In fact, we found that in the last year, the first time we sort of offered this training, we didn't know too much what to expect, but what we found was we were pleasantly surprised by how quickly this training could achieve a certain requisite level beyond our expectations in some cases, because people were already equipped with this kind of attributes, which you might call soft skills, but which are very critical to get ahead and get into a career in security, particularly in hardware security. So with that, I will ask Swanli, you can go to the next slide. That's all I had to say. Swanli, you want to take over?
Sorry, I thought I'm probably muted myself so that everyone can hear clearly. So, this is our year 2 program. So I think, this year we will be, we have our pioneers in the first program, right? Brave soldiers. So they help us that we learn a lot in the process. And right, there are a lot of places we will improve for this year. So it's a learning process for all of us. So we really appreciate their feedback. But this year, of course, right, we welcome applications. And I'm sure, the second cohort will also further help us refine our program for the year 3 cohort. Overall, the HASTE program is like a 6-month program. 3 months we call like industry-driven course, which, to build on what the skills and knowledge you gain, like let's say STEM education or from like a military experience, and then build on that, will get you prepared through the UF industry-driven course to help you get a basic understanding of hardware security. And then it will start like 3 months internship, roughly 3 months internship, right? For you to get a real hands-on experience and get really employment skills. Of course, there's a close conceptually, there's a close alignment between the course and your internship, because the course is not like we develop it randomly. We also got a lot of input from the industry advisors or our industry collaborators, so that we can make sure you are prepared for job, or starting a very good trajectory to future job in hardware security. One thing I want to emphasize, right? Let's say you don't have a strong background in cybersecurity or in STEM. So this 6-month program will get you a strong foundation for you to further pursue opportunities in hardware security. So it's hard to guarantee, let's say, after 6 months, you are totally ready to land a very a good job in hardware security. But the bottom line is, we'll have you a very strong foundation. And out of the 10 participants last year, I think one got a job like when they were in the when like almost like in red before like the internship. They already like got a job like in the cybersecurity area. So that's something we are particularly proud of. And Rohan, do you want to talk a little bit about this slide?
Sure, Professor. So in the first 3 months of the courses, we'll have a 1 to 2 week session, hands-on session here at the UF. And as Professor was mentioning, we focus a lot on the background of the background knowledge related to the hardware development program. And we'll teach you how microcontrollers work or how signals are being propagated and the basics of all the electronic systems. And it is important because when you're thinking about security, you need to understand how to build the system so that you can identify the faults in the system. So in the first couple of weeks, we provide the training for you to understand the basics of it. And then we provide more materials as a continuing approach towards the hardware security concept. We'll go into depth on how silicon engineering is done in the industry and how hardware security measures are being implemented by companies in the silicon industry. While we are having the hands-on classes here at UF, you'll be given 2 development boards on which you'll be asked to perform experiments. And each experiment is designed in a way for you to learn the concepts so that you can understand what is happening inside the electronic system. And it is often a problem to understand what's happening inside because you don't necessarily have a visualized understanding of the, let's say, the logic operations inside a microcontroller. So we design these experiments in such a way that you'll get a chance to visualize what is happening and you understand the system at a depth that is necessary for you to excel in hardware security applications. And later, we have a specialized hardware security development platform that we will be providing to you. And you'll be performing experiments for the rest of the 3-month session. So each experiment will be planned in a way for like you'll be given a week or 2 depending on the difficulty of the experiment, and then we'll be providing you with the instructions, detailed instructions on how to get through the experiment. And the goal there is for you to understand what is happening and then get an good idea of how hardware security principles are being implemented and the concepts behind those implementations. And once you have the training, we'll be partnering with the industry partners where they'll be providing, again, internship with a mentor, giving you hands-on experience, again, with the industry-oriented problems. And you can see that while as an academic, someone in the academia, our problems are the way we see problems tend to differ from how the industry sees the problems, and you can experience both of these while you're going through this 6-month program. For the 3 months internship, our partners are available here in Gainesville, and in some of the positions you will be required to be in their labs and work on the equipment that they'll be training you on. And in some cases, you'll be asked to either continue from home or depending on how the company plans their internship program. We do have Robert here. Robert is one of our previous members who was who joined us through the VETS-HASTE Year 1 program. And I think he could provide a bit more his personal experience on how the program extended. And now I just hand over to Professor Liu.
Okay, awesome. There are a few points I want to further emphasize, right? So the course and the industry-driven course at UF is like a mixed modality, right? There will be face-to-face and there will be an online component. And the internship, I think it started right. The industry will provide webinars during the industry-driven course so that you get to know their companies, and also at the same time the the industry partners will also try to get to know you so that they can select the best interns they are interested in. I mean, like last year we successfully like placed all the veterans through an internship, but technically it's not guaranteed, right? Because it's more like a mutual selection. So the industry partner will evaluate your resume and your performance based on the course and based on the interaction in the webinar, and they will make the final choice. And of course, the location it will be likely in Gainesville, and there will be also like virtual opportunities depending on the job. So for the year 2, right, I want to emphasize some like logistics. So the stipend is 10,000 for each veterans participate. There's additional 2,500 budgeted per participant for travel expenses. This travel expense, right, will include to travel to UF for the industry-driven course for 1 week, and then visit the industry sites for internships as needed, right? And then participate in graduation and celebration event at the UF, usually towards the end of November or very first week of December. I want to, I know like last year, right, we already run the first cohort. I think based on the feedback, I know like, the veterans, right, participants want like probably a longer like face-to-face interaction with the instructors or like on UF campus. That's the thing, that's a little bit, that's the thing we feel some like, how do I put it, limited by the resources, right? Technically, the 2,500, think about that, living in Gainesville for like a week, right? Your hotel, your food, and this department requirement will cost a lot. And in reality, if you can, let's say we can like put in 2 weeks, but 2,500 may not be enough, right? If you are willing to use some of the, let's say the 10,000 stipend, that's definitely we can do. We can easily like extend it to 2 weeks of face-to-face, face-to-face classroom time, right, for the veterans. But it really depends on like, let's say we need to find a good balance essentially between like the face-to-face class and also the online learning. But even for online learning, right, there will be like office hours, regular like lecture times and webinars. So there will be tons of like interactions continuous throughout the course. So no matter what, we just need to find the right balance. I think, maybe we're going to try a little bit different this year, and we'll have like to see what works really best. But last year we have 1 week face-to-face time at Gainesville on UF campus. And this is our like, wonderful like participants from last cohort. And as you can see, there are 9, right? In reality, there's 10, but 1 is already landed a job in cybersecurity field. So due to the like the job requirements, he was not able to make it for the first cohort. But we are. I think this is one of the. I'm very proud of them, and this is one of the best projects I have. I have many, so I think this is one of the projects I feel like really proud and feel committed, for this program. And also, as Rohan mentioned, right, we have like 2 wonderful like graduates from our first cohort, Andrew and Robert here. And Andrew and Robert, do you want to say a few words about yourself and briefly about like your experience for our HASTE program?
Okay. Guess I'll go first, Robert. How you guys doing? I was in the first VETS-HASTE program. I was originally a small arm artillery repairman. So me transitioning over from working with weapons to IT was a big jump for me. And when I was introduced to this program here, I kind of didn't have any idea of what I wanted to do as far as IT. I did have some cybersecurity experience, going to school for it, but I never really got too far into it. And I did have a little bit of programming experience as well. But this program, it allowed me to, focus on, what part of IT I wanted to, put my focus on, where I wanted to, spend most of my time on education. It's a great program. I love the hands-on, the experiments. It taught me so much. it put a lot of things in perspective, even, in just regular IT and software endeavors, that allowed me to, get a great grasp um, of the experiments and what IT, what hardware security has to offer. So I definitely think this is a worthy program. You get to learn, you get to experiment hands-on. You get, the university itself is amazing. Looks beautiful. It's a great place to concentrate on the project that you're doing, as well as the instructors. Without without Rohan, explaining and breaking it down for me, I wouldn't have got as much. So I definitely, put a lot of praise onto the instructors, because they're definitely the ones that allowed us, to grasp the knowledge in a quick manner. Right, you might think a week is not a lot of time, but for that week, it felt like almost 6 months to me. Just the amount of knowledge and things that we were excuse me, just the amount of knowledge that we gained from just that 1 week, and then of course um expand upon it for the rest of the 6 months that we had. So definitely a great program to be in. Definitely a great starter. If you want to learn about IT hardware security in IT, this is definitely a good start for you. Although I haven't got landed a job yet, it's more because I'm just focused more on hardware security. I'm taking more steps uh to make that my main thing in IT. Other than cybersecurity, it will be hardware security for me. I'm trying to be like Rohan in a sense. Yeah, that's it for me. You can go ahead, Robert.
It's great hearing your voice, Andre. Miss
Thank
all
you.
the guys that I graduated with. I'm an Air Force veteran of 24 years, 3 Delta. So I was working in IT on the desktop support and information system security officer while I was in the program. I couldn't believe when Veterans of Florida offered this program up. I submitted my resume and I couldn't believe that I got selected. So it was awesome. I had never heard of hardware security before. I just recently graduated with a master's degree in cybersecurity, and thought hardware security is a totally new realm. And I'd like to echo what Andre said. Without the instructor, Mr. Rohan, I couldn't have learned as much as I did. I'm not the only one. Andre and probably the rest of us that were there in class, we learned so much. To get a better understanding, if you have a background in information technology, it is very helpful. But if you don't, Mr. Rohan can break it down very easily for you. And so I would highly encourage you to submit an application and try and get into this program. This is the second year, and like Andre said, the campus is beautiful. The instructors are beautiful. All the people at UF have been very supportive. And I was fortunate to internship with Caspia Technologies, and I'm currently working with them remotely, which I couldn't believe that was the case. So I'm working on a project. While during the internship, we worked with Department of Homeland Security project annotating printed circuit boards and interconnections and chips on the board. And then I was able to transition to more of a government projects, and I'm working with a program with DARPA, DOD contract, and it looks like we're going to get this project, and we are going to be X-raying different chips, and it's called a system in package chip. Not sure if anybody is familiar with that, but those system and package are stacked chips inside a server. And so we're going to be scanning that to get it at 1,000 by 1,000 pixels. I know I'm getting into the weeds, but I'm just giving you the understanding of what this program can lead you to. And so I'm hoping that will help you make a decision on submitting your resume. I could go on for the next half an hour talking about the program. So I just wanted to give you those different items, basically food for thought. So again, I wish you all the best. Complete your resume, and people at UF and Veterans of Florida will take care of you.
Thank you so much, Andrea and Robert, for sharing your experience. We are very proud of both of you, for joining this program and support this program. I think, I'll turn back to Joe, and I know we have some questions. Joe, you want to take over and to see how we want to move forward?
Yes, certainly. First of all, thank you, Andre. Thank you, Robert. And of course, thank you, Juan Lee, Rohan, and Sandeep. It's been a real pleasure to get to know you guys and to be part of this pretty incredible program. Before we get to questions, I want to turn it over to Colby Livingston. He is our VETS team manager here at Veterans Florida. He's going to tell us a little bit about how the application process will work.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Colby Livingston. I'm the Senior Veterans Employment and Training Services Manager here at Veterans Florida. And I want to walk in, and it kind of helps piggybacking off of what Robert and Andre said there. How do I apply? If you're interested in this program, how do you apply? The best way to get started is to go to veteransflorida.org/apply or /apply. You'll pull up a website link where you will need to identify your veteran status and then submit through the application process there. When identifying your interest, you need to make sure that you select the HASTE program or HASTE, and then it'll get sent over to a member of our VETS team who will review the application. And if you meet the requirements for the second round of review, someone will reach out to you. Big thing to include on your application is your interest and experience within your cybersecurity, hardware security, anything kind of relevant to this particular application process. That's pretty much it on the application. It's pretty simple. Again, veteransflorida.org/apply. This program is available to veterans, National Guards members, and reservists. For active duty personnel, if you're within your last 180 days time, feel free to apply. It'll basically be dependent upon if you're going to be able to attend the in-person training. So it'll be a case-by-case basis on if it lines up with you. But don't worry, because the program will be available next year as well. So even if you don't make it for this round, you can apply again next year as a veteran. Pass it back to Joe.
Thank you, Colby. Appreciate it. Might hit you up one more time for a little overview of the application process. We do have some questions for some of you who may have missed it earlier. If you would like to submit a question here, you go to the bottom right of your screen. You see the activities button, which is a triangle, square, and a circle. You'll hit Q&A, and you can submit your question there. And let's go over a few of the ones we have here so far. Let's go with, yeah, this is a good question. Can you talk a little bit about how the online portion is structured? And is it feasible for someone who is working full-time at the same time?
I'll let Rohan take this question.
All right. So during the online sessions, we will be having interactive sessions every week. We structured these experiments in such a way that we'll provide all the instructions required for you to go through the experiment. And we will be mentoring you throughout the process of these experiments. And if you have any questions related to the experiments, you're always welcome to contact us. And we've scheduled in-person meeting every week, at least once every week, where we have a couple of hours dedicated to talking to you, taking you step by step through the experiment, and teaching you all the required background information for these experiments. And if I remember correctly, a couple of veterans while working with us on the experiments were also working on their regular jobs. And so I did see some of them manage. For example, Andre was working, and he was also being part of this session while he was doing that. And I think Andre could provide a bit more information of his experience on how he managed that.
Yes. So just to answer that question, it is very feasible. Like I said, everyone in the program works with you. You know, they're trying to make sure that you learn and that you get what you need from the program as well. So other than I say going actually to Gainesville for that in-person week, everything else is manageable. I was able to, work as well as, finish the experiments and participate in the program as well. And I was working full time, so I was doing 40-hour weeks or more. So I was able. They work with you, so you would have that time. You just have to make the time to get there to start the program.
So just to add to that, we would try to be as flexible as we can during the online portion of it. But the thing is that even if you have a job, we would expect that you will be able to put several hours a week on the experiments. It would not be helpful if you simply cannot put the effort. However, the rest of it, like appointments, meeting times, etc., we work with you to make it as convenient for you as possible. The only constraint there is the first week or so of the face-to-face interaction with UF, where we will not have the flexibility. That part, you will have to make time to actually be on campus during that whole time.
All right, that's a good question. Thank you. I have another one here. And the question is, what's the acceptance rate for the program? I don't know if we can answer that depending on how many people applied, but there are 10 students for each cohort. So obviously the percentage acceptance rate is going to depend on how many people we have apply, but it's very competitive. As Colby mentioned, I would be very pleased if you have background. It's not a requirement, but if you have background in cybersecurity, hardware, cybersecurity, anything in that field, make sure you mention that when you submit your application. And Colby, I know you had one of the. Colby, we have a question here about spouses. Can you address that for me?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take the spouse's question, but first I do want to emphasize, like Joe said, this is a very competitive application process. We get hundreds of applicants, and only 10 individuals are selected for the program. So please consider that when applying. Make sure you put your best effort forward when filling out your application process. I'm going to encourage everyone to apply. My team is set up to review them, but please make sure you put your best foot forward when you do apply. For the spouse's question, currently as the program is set up, it is currently set up for veterans and Guards member and reservists. Spouses currently cannot attend. With the hopeful overall success of the program as it continues in the future, Juan Lee and Sandeep, I know that might be an area of interest of growing forward, but for now, the program's only for veterans. And then we had another question on here. I'll just go ahead and take that one, Joe. Let me see if I can find it. From Rafael Rincon, he asked for Colby, is there a Florida residency requirement? This program is for Florida individuals living and residing here in the state of Florida. For veterans, National Guard members, or reserves. For active duty personnel, if you're transitioning out and your time frame aligns with when this program becomes available and you're looking to move here to the state, I would encourage you to apply. Again, it'll be a case-by-case basis on your application, but this program is set up here for those in the state of Florida.
Thank
you, Joe.
Yep.
One more time. Omar, I see your question. The web link for the application is veteransflorida.org/apply. And we'll throw that in the chat as well. I believe our admin team will throw that in there.
Yeah, and I see another question in here on this. Yes, I will share a copy of this presentation with everybody who registered today. So yes, everyone will get a copy of that, and that will include obviously the PowerPoint in there. Let me see here. Colby, did you answer the question here about like the how important is it to have an IT background? I think we kind of went over that, but let's go over it one more time.
Yeah, the background is helpful. when going through this process. It really depends on your experience. Andre, for example, didn't have any actual hands-on experience when applying, but he had some education background, whereas Robert had a lot of practical experience, and he was looking to get more on the hardware side. So a base level and understanding of IT and that is extremely helpful when applying for this program.
Yeah, and I think maybe Juan Lee or the UF team can talk a little bit more of this. Like, what are the selection criteria? Is there anything specifically that you're looking for as you go through the app?
Yes, Sandeep, do you want to add more?
We do. So the thing is that we generally do not expect a whole lot of background on the topic. In fact, this is the goal of this project, is to get the background, but something related to hardware security, like some aspects of STEM or some software skills. These are or cybersecurity. These are given some additional preference. Beyond that, we just look at your overall qualifications and resume, and what you did, and so on. We primarily look at what technical things you did during your service or anywhere else before. What specific relevant skills we have, and that is the plus. And anything you say about projects that involve reasonable amount of complexity that you may have worked on. And by that, I mean technical projects, not human management projects.
Thank you, Sandeep, for explaining a little bit more. But upon completion of this program, do graduates receive an HSS certificate? Do they receive a certificate upon completion?
Yeah, there will be a certificate issued, between like a UF and NSF with a logo on it. But I think, as I mentioned earlier, this is you look at this more like an entry point or like a foundation for to further pursue hardware security degree or like a future employment, right? There's a formal like a certificate program called hardware security offered through UF. So you can use this as a like entry point to further earn like more like a formal certificate. But we do upon the completion. So the short answer is we will offer a certificate from like the UF and NSF, but based on this program, not like let's say a degree from UF. I hope that's like clear for you. Yeah.
Thank you, Juan Lee. You talked a little about the industry partners, and I heard you touch on it, but maybe be a little more explicit. Are the industry partners located in the Gainesville, UF area, or where else are they located?
So the industry partners would vary by the year, and but there are at least 2 companies who are involved, who are located in Gainesville. In the first year, we also had initial involvement of Intel, which is, of course, not located in Gainesville. Intel is, of course, a much bigger company. However, Intel last year was responsible for the creation of like guiding what the material would be, etc., and what they were looking for. But last year, Intel did not look for interns. The 2 local Gainesville companies looked for interns. We are negotiating with companies this year, and this year also Intel is involved, but in what capacity is right now part of negotiation. We don't have an answer whether they would get interns or not, but they may.
Okay, Sandeep, thank you. And I'm going to turn back over to our executive director, Joe Marino. Joe, you have something you'd like to share with everyone?
Hey, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, this is Executive Director Joe Marino at Veterans Florida. I wanted to help clarify some questions on the application and spouses. So someone had put in the Q&A the website for the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs. Now, we're associated with them, but we are a different organization that is housed under them. So our website is veteransflorida.org, And if you go to veteransflorida.org/apply, you will bring up you will be redirected, and you will bring up the application form for our services. Within that, under interests, if you are service member, Guard Reserve, and even active duty with 12 months left, you may apply there and select HASTE under the interest field. Unfortunately, if you're a spouse, the HASTE option is not there. However, our other services for spouses are still available, such as career placement and entrepreneur training. So saw some questions there, about 4, 5, or 6 questions that were sort of bleeding into each other about those topics. So I just wanted to clarify again, the application page is veteransflorida.org/apply. And spouses are unfortunately currently not available for this program. However, you can still apply for Veterans Florida assistance with career and entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Got a couple more questions here left. When you're applying, are you allowed to attach educational transcripts? Colby or somebody from UF?
I got it. There's no need for that particular site. On your resume, put your education background. If that becomes a questionnaire, Veterans Florida will reach out to you on that side, but we won't need your education transcripts or anything like that. Just fill out the normal application, kind of like we were applying to a job. Upload your resume. In the interest description, put any relevant details towards your interest in this particular program, including experience and why you feel like you'd be a good fit for this opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Colby. Got another question on the certificate here. So the academic portion of this particular class, are these the same classes that are offered in the HSS certificate program, or are they custom tailored for this particular cohort and students?
This is custom for this thing. This is not the same classes as the UF certificate or formal hardware security program. That's because they're catering to different audiences. Our goal is to get you to the point where you can then sort of go for such things as the hardware security certificate or something, or other programs which are a bit more advanced. This one is to sort of get you initiated to this area and do it in a hands-on way so that you not only see the area, but you also see how industry works in the area. But this is not the same classes. This is purely for this program.
Thank you, Sandeep. I have a question on the application deadline for this particular cohort. The Colby, you want to talk about the deadline? I think it's open-ended right now.
Yeah, it's open-ended right now. It will close within probably the end of next month. For now, it is open and available. It's open right now. Please go apply. veteransflorida.org/apply. Again, that's veteransflorida.org/apply.
Right. And so everybody on this call and everybody who registered for the call, you will be receiving a couple emails with one will be a link to this video as well, and one of them will be with some more details on the application timelines, and you'll be getting those emails on Monday. Here, kind of a technical question. Yeah, how does reimbursement for the travel work for this particular program?
I can give some like overall guidance. So initially we thought about just allocate this travel directly as stipend to you. But apparently according to the NSF guideline, it has to go through like a refund process. It means like or I think it may be possible also. Let's say if you don't have like the funds right now to book like hotel or something. I think there's a way to work around this. UF can help you book it, but overall it's more like a refund process. Collect your tickets about like let's say your travel, right? There's a mileage rate. There's like cover your hotels and your meals, right? You can go for per diem right? There's a like regular standard per diem for essentially cover your 3 meals per day. So I think that's how you get like covered for the travel.
Gotcha. And I got a couple more kind of broader macro questions here. One of them is, are there other programs like this in the U.S. that's kind of specific veteran training for hardware security, or is Florida standing alone here right now?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, probably this is the only one. To my knowledge, funded through NSF, I think that this is probably the only one right now available. But we are making we are taking every opportunity to try to expand this program, getting more support and take more veterans, because I know there are a lot of like interest in this kind of program, and we definitely need like more support for the veterans as well.
Gotcha. We are getting close to.
And
Go ahead,
I'll
I'm sorry.
jump in there too, Joe. Looking from the Veterans Florida, looking at other states and what's available, other state universities, Florida is the only one that I've seen from my side in my research that has anything like that. And that's, again, in partnership with the state of Florida and the University of Florida and Juan Lee and his team, Sandeep and those guys. So we really appreciate what they're doing on this side.
Yeah, Florida, once again, kind of leading the way and making, helping make it a veteran-ready state and have careers for veterans coming here. Cole, we got another application question here. When will I be able to upload my resume?
So when you apply, you'll get an automated email back saying we've received your application. Then someone from Veterans Florida's team will reach out to you, at which time they will kind of do a one-on-one conversation with you. Hey, this is what we got. Did you mean to add this? If it's not added already in the description section, they'll request your resume at that time, at which time you can just reply to them directly. So again, when you apply, someone from Veterans Florida team will reach out to you to initiate that process. So first thing you'll do, submit apply, receive the automated email, and then give our team enough time to process the applications and reach out to you.
All right, thank you, Colby. One last call for questions. If you came in late, you have the activities button here in the bottom right. That's where you can ask a question. It's your triangle, square, and circle. Click on that, hit the Q&A, but I think we've got a lot of questions here. Before I see if we have any more questions, I want to kick it back to the UF guys. Let's a little bit broader. Like I think a lot of us are familiar with software cybersecurity. Just tell me a little bit more about, how hardware security is, I presume, as important or more important than what most people would think of as cybersecurity.
I think the main difference is how the hardware is designed. So in terms of cybersecurity, you always have an option to send an update and then correct the fault or a bug that you have found, right? But in hardware, once you've designed it, there is no way of recalling it. I mean, you can, but the volume at which the consumer products are prepared, it becomes financially and technically very problematic to recall everything and then correct it. So it's in the primary interest of the product making company to keep the security in mind as they design the product, because it's not the chance of correction is not available in terms of hardware. And in software, you can always send out an update to rectify that problem. But there are limitations in the software as well. So even firmware comes under software, but firmware works very closely with hardware, and sometimes there are limitations on how you can modify the firmware as well. So there are a lot of things that are working at different abstraction layers, and as the layers get closer towards the software end, it's much easier to correct them, and as you get closer towards the hardware end, it gets much difficult to correct it later. So understanding all the possible ways of how problems can occur and then trying to solve them is part of coming up with good techniques to prevent security issues on the hardware.
Gotcha. Colby, I think you saw a question in here. Can you address that?
Absolutely. Dwayne, regarding your question, so just to clarify, I am with Veterans Florida, not with the VA. The VRE program is a separate program entirely. This is a program provided from the University of Florida and Veterans Florida. So if you're interested in applying for this, go apply on veteransflorida.org/apply. The VRE, or also commonly known as the VOC Rehab program, is a separate thing altogether. and that's vetted and run through the VA and through claims examiners in that process.
All right. Thank you, Colby. Got one other question here. No, there's no age limit on applications. Anyone can apply for this. And let's see. Okay, this is a pretty technical question here. I got we have somebody who someone who's might be attending UF for a master's degree via the VRNE program that we just mentioned. It starts later this year in September. Would there be any concerns or problems with the overlap between those trainings?
No, if you have the available time to participate in this opportunity, please, I encourage you to apply. It's the same as if someone has a job or anything else. If you have the time to be able to commit to participating and being one of the 10 active participants in this opportunity, please apply, and we'll work through that application process with you.
Okay, we do have one question here from the beginning. I think it's going to be for our UF team. You talked about supply chain in your presentation there. Are there resources here in the U.S. mainland that can manufacture these components right now?
Yeah, there is, but supply chain, of course, is still there. What I mean is that even if everything is done in the US, it's not done by one entity in the US. It's almost impossible to do everything that is required to design and manufacture a semiconductor company, a semiconductor chip for a variety of applications by one company. So, I mean, Intel used to do that. Even Intel is not doing that anymore. So, so there will be a supply chain, no matter what. Now, the supply chain may be less global or more global, whatever we do, but when there are hundreds of organizations involved, whether inside the US or outside the US, there would be always a chance of bad actors or expectation mismatch or some such to cause vulnerability. There is almost nothing that you can, then that is just human nature or company nature or business nature, however you put it. So it's not a matter of overseas that is causing it. It's something inherent in the complexity of hardware design that makes hardware security hard.
Okay. Colby, I know we've had a lot of questions about applications. Let's go through it real quick one more time, just so everybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're interested in applying for this particular program, please go to veteransflorida.org/apply. Click on your veteran status, so veteran, active duty, guard, reserve. Go through the application period. In the interest section, make sure you click on HASTE. In the interest description, please upload your interest in this particular program along with whatever qualifications you feel might be relevant for this particular program. Once received, a member of Veterans Florida, you'll get an automated email, and a member of Veterans Florida staff will reach out to you to basically go through the initial application process and kind of guide you through the next steps. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. My email address is Livingston, LIVINGSTON @veteransflorida.org. But it's a pretty straightforward application process. Please go to veteransflorida.org/apply. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Before we wrap it up completely, Joe, I'm going to give it to you one more time.
All right, thanks. Yeah, this is Joe Marino again, Executive Director, Veterans Florida. So the term upload, just use that loosely. There is no upload on the initial application. We've designed our application form to be mobile friendly, so that all you have to do is go through a few fields, and then our team will contact you. Colby and his colleagues will contact everybody who applies after they complete the form. And at that point, they will likely request a resume if there will be further forward movement. So when you hear us use the word upload, it's just, fill out a field, add some text. The actual resume and whatever will be captured later. We're just trying to get your interest and do an initial reach out to you. So that hopefully that helps. And as executive director, let me just take a quick minute of privilege. Thank you everyone for joining. And the team at UF that conducts the training is amazing. And I'm so glad we had Robert and Andre on to tell you from the veterans' perspective what they experienced. And our team is ready to help you get recruited and in, and University of Florida team is ready to get you trained.
All right, everybody. UF, some words of wisdom here before we sign off.
Yeah, thank you thank you very much for your time and support. Really great partnership with Veteran Florida. One last thing I want to say, for hardware security, after this kind with Sandy, you really don't have to be like, let's say I have a strong background. As long as, I think, from Sandy's work, it's more like high school math or STEM experience should be able to apply. So don't get scared away by like, you have to have a strong experience. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you,
Awesome.
everybody. Thank everybody for being here today. Reminder, I will email you a link to this presentation, so you'll be able to review that, and you will also receive emails giving you updates as the application process continues. And there will also be, I will keep Colby's email in there too, so if you have any questions about the applications, he'll be able to help you with that. Thank you so much, everybody. Really great to see this interest, really great to be part of the fantastic team at UF. And with that, have a great afternoon and have a great weekend.
Thank you very much.